Okay, so welcome to Secure Coat, Threat Ninja, Dark Web Monitoring.
Okay.
So basically, the exercise is to give you an overview of what we do, what Secure Coat do, and how our dark web monitoring service works. So that is the purpose of the webinar. So yeah, I mean, let's get into it. And what I'll do is explain who we are, what we do, how the actual dark web monitoring for credit card and debit cards works. And I have a few screenshots, and we'll discuss some things that make a necessary service for anyone in right now. Okay, so
Okay.
who we are, we provide cybersecurity services to a lot of banks and corporate companies and medium to small size companies. We partner with Rapid7, IBM, Skybot Security, etc. And we have extensive knowledge and experience in most financial sectors, the bulk of that being in Pakistan. Okay. So banks and businesses in Pakistan have connected with us for this, for our services, and we're now sort of expanding into the UK and into Europe. Okay, so my name is Wade Bailey. My role is basically as a senior consultant to onboard new business and to make sure that things are running smoothly in terms of delivering the services that our customers require. Okay, so so at Secure Coat we have devoted teams.
Okay. How many partners in Pakistan do you have?
There are several partners in Pakistan. I'm not at liberty to say because of our non-disclosure agreements, exactly who we work for. As you can imagine, with the financial industry, we're bound by stringent rules and stringent contracts when we're providing these services. But nevertheless, most of the banks in Pakistan we have relationships with.
Okay, no issue.
Yeah, and obviously we're building and expanding on that. So we've got devoted teams for various security domains, and we have qualified personnel, for each domain in all the different cybersecurity areas. Okay, our expertise, okay, as you can see from the slide, is cybersecurity monitoring of cards via social media, dark web, etc. Okay. There are only a few vendors available around the globe who provide dark web monitoring with respect to financial matters, and I'm guessing you understand that. That's why you are connected with us.
Okay.
So we actually deal with actual card data and not just web links. So the actual data itself, we have offices here in the UK, which I head up, and Europe, and in Pakistan also. And we also do vulnerability assessments, okay, network, web and mobile, penetration testing, network, web and mobile, and we run security operation centers where that work is outsourced to us.
Okay. I have a question regarding vulnerability assessment and penetration testing.
Yes.
Do your company is ASB company for conducting VAPT?
Sorry, say again.
ASB. Your company is ASB company? Yeah.
No, our company is called Secure Coat.
No, actually, I want to know that is your company is ASB qualified company for conducting payment card related vulnerability assessment and penetration testing?
Yes, we have the necessary qualifications to work. Yes, to work in our jurisdictions. Yes. Okay. All right. So
do your company have SIM? Do you provide any managed service or
yes,
for consultancy for SOC?
We do. Yes, we do consultancy and we do managed services. Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. So yeah, just a quick overview. I'll go through this quickly because I understand that you actually provide similar services. Is that correct? In
Yeah,
terms of, yeah, you provide pen testing, vulnerabilities, testing, etc. And yeah,
yeah. Sometimes we conduct vulnerability assessment and penetration testing through our partner, because here lots of bank and other financial organization or my MNC company has had some requirement to conduct with our foreign partner, or through our foreign partner. So that's why I asked you that question. Uh,
okay.
okay.
Okay, yeah. So, okay, so bearing in mind, you are quite experienced, so I'm going to skip through a lot of this. I'll go through this quite quickly because I appreciate that you understand how the dark web works and the various different areas of the web. So basically, there are four types of web available on the internet. Yeah, you've got the surface web, which is 5% of the internet, the deep web, and the dark web, and Marina, which is the deepest web. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so you understand the surface web, right? Yeah. So the
You
surface
can
web,
explain.
yeah. Okay. So the surface web, the way we explain it is it's readily available to the general public. You can search it with standard web engines like web search engines like Google, Yahoo, and Bing. And it's a section of the internet that's been indexed by search engines on a second by second basis. Then we go down to the deep web. Okay, it's a different part of the World Wide Web where the contents are not indexed by standard web search engines and contains mainly password protected sites. Okay, contents of the deep
Okay.
web, right, can be usually accessed by a URL or an IP address with a password and multi-factor authentication to get to that content. Then we move down to the deep web. Okay, so this actually makes up more than 85% of the internet. You can't access it without knowing the actual specific URL or the address of the website you wish to visit. And surfing this web is not so difficult if you know the address you wish to visit. Okay. Then we move again down to the dark web. This requires specific software configurations or authorization to access. Okay. The dark web
Okay.
actually refers to a set of accessible anonymously hosted websites, yeah, that exists within the deep web. Okay, dark web is a small portion of the deep web. All
Okay.
right, all right. So then we move down a level to the dark web, which includes gambling sites, guns, abuse, hacking, fraud, drugs, violence, pornography, child pornography, hitman hiring, cannibalism, etc., etc., and many other illegal activities. Okay, the dark web isn't accessible, as you know, through normal browsers, and to access the dark web, you need to install Tor, which is the Onion router browser. Okay, are you familiar with the Tor?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So Bitcoin was invented. Just a fact. Bitcoin was invented in the dark web in 2009 by a person or a group who call themselves Satoshi Nakamoto. Okay, and has been the de facto currency of the dark web, which means it's the go-to currency of the dark web. All right. So the Marina web again is said to be the deepest level of the internet, which makes World Wide Web between the government computers that contain top secret data that's transferred secretly with the help of the internet. Okay, they use very secure
Okay.
protocols and they encrypt their data so you can't trace that data on the marine web. Okay, another section of the marine web is private networks used by the government, such as the Global Wide Area Networks, NSA Net, RIPR, JWICS, etc. Okay, these networks contain secrets of the most powerful secret agencies of the world. All right, so these secrets may include private file, secret data, and sensitive political information. And here's just a graphical representation of what I just spoke about. On the top you have, it's like an iceberg. On the top you have the surface web. with Google, Facebook websites being accessible by the normal general public. And then you move down the deep web, private forums, private networks, net banking, research papers, which you need access, authentication to access these sites. And then you move down to the dark web, where you need to use the Tor browser to access a lot of this illegal information and anonymous sites. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. So again, another graphical representation, Google at the top of the iceberg, and underneath you've got the deep web, and then underneath that you have the dark web. So again, at the dark web level, you've got Tor encrypted sites, illegal information, illegal porn, hackers, it's where hackers dwell, and a lot of illegal activity happening. If you move up one level, you go to the deep web, you've got the government resources, academic information, etc., which again usually is passworded, and you need to know the URL to access that information. Okay.
Okay.
So let's talk about threats, threat perception. Okay, so beyond the general public internet, okay, in the traditional security perimeter, there are criminals, government agencies, and threat actors congregating on the dark web. All right, that's the lower levels of the web. These malicious threat actors and organized criminal groups are plotting against trusted companies, financial institutions, or governments, often targeting executive technologies, products, and services. Okay, the purpose of cybersecurity monitoring. Okay, so the purpose of cybersecurity monitoring service is to provide threat alerts while monitoring critical information that is suspected to be stolen or sold into the dark and deep surfaces of the internet. Okay, with proactive cybersecurity monitoring, we can enhance situational awareness, improve cybersecurity management. So what we're saying is we're trying to preempt what threat actors might be doing. So here's a quick definition of a threat actor as we see it. A threat actor, also called a malicious actor, is a person or entity that is partially or wholly responsible for a security incident that impacts or has a potential to impact an organization's security. Okay. From a threat intelligence perspective, actors are generally categorized as external or internal or a partner. With external threat actors, no trust or privilege previously exists, and what you'll find is that they use tools and techniques to hack into your system. And with internal or partner actors, there's a level of trust or privilege that has previously existed, which they may exploit, and the actor may have been given that by the organization, that information by the organization. So the incident could be intentional or accidental, and its purpose is usually malicious. Okay. So let's look at a threat actor compared to a hacker or an attacker. A threat actor compared to a hacker or an attacker does not necessarily have any technical skills. So a threat actor does not necessarily have any technical skills. They are a person or an organization with malicious intent and a mission to compromise an organization's security or data. So this could be anything from physical destruction to simply copying sensitive information and making that information available to someone else. It's a broad term and intentionally used because it can apply to external and insider threats. Okay, so let's talk about Secure Code Deep Dark Web Threat Ninja. Okay, this is our flagship. Okay, this is the tool that we're here to speak about, and I'm sure you're interested in. So it's our flagship. It crawls the dark web for not a specific organization's specific data. Okay. Threat Ninja has also partnered with various organizations offering threat feeds for internet, deep, dark web, and beyond. Okay. Secure Cult Threat Ninja will automatically crawl the deep dark web, and it will monitor criminal activities pertaining to your individual business. The data collected from all these platforms is fed into our correlation engine, and we use machine learning algorithms and artificial intelligence techniques to output specific results. Okay, Threat Ninja, yeah, so it tracks malicious activity automatically and covertly in order to continuously expose cybercrime. Okay, Threat Ninja use. Yeah, do you have any
What
questions?
information? Yeah, what information we need to provide secure code deep? Our organization related, like I need to provide a IP address, or I need to provide a suppose a word or or some sentence like to organization.
Yeah, okay, we cover that a bit later. Generally,
Okay.
the answer to your question is no, you don't need to provide an IP address. But I'll explain that as we go a little bit further. You know, what you need to provide and how we actually, the information that we need to provide the card monitoring service. Does that make sense?
Okay.
All right, so we use hidden service locators to identify and track illegal hideouts, yeah, without detection. So we're tracking the criminals, we're tracking the sensitive data, and they do not know that we are tracking them. Okay. So this is our approach. Okay, it's threat intelligence model. Identification of threat at source. So we identify the threat with automated and analyst-based identifying for sources. So we have analysts and some automated systems in place that identify the threats. Okay, we collect the raw data, and we collect raw data from the dark web, from forums, from marketplaces, from pastebin sites, and from IRC chat rooms. Okay, so in the deep web, we look at Telegram. On the surface web, where we look at Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, and other threat feeds. We look at partners, SC sensors deployed worldwide. So this is where we collect all the data, and you know, our software does that mostly automatically, and we have some analysts that, you know, monitor the situation and make sure that everything's running smoothly, basically. Okay, so classification and categorization. So we look at whether a threat actor, we look at threat actor analysis. Okay, so we look at how bad is the threat, and we alert and give it prioritization, and we do some forensics as well. Okay, so we cover quite a wide range of activity in order to make sure that we get the data that the company or the client needs in order to mitigate their risk. Okay, so our value proposition is basically Secure Code is able to monitor the threat actors over an entire life cycle of the threat. We use big data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learned algorithms. Okay. So basically, we're infiltrating dark web networks, exposing the malicious criminal activity. We investigate, you know, exactly how they are carrying out that activity, and then we seek to eliminate that illegal activity without detection. Okay, so we go in and we find those files, and we seek to eliminate the threat by taking a course of action. Okay, so some statistics. I think we're going to go into some statistics now. All cyber attacks, an annual cost of 400 billion. Okay, and that was a figure sort of taken a few years ago. So 86% are undiscovered and 93% are unmitigated. So nobody's doing anything about them. All right, so if we look at our specific Threat Ninja, the Threat Ninja life cycle. So what we're doing is we're looking at credit cards and debit cards, correct? Okay, so we're looking at where do these agents get these credit cards? So they usually get them from, they're either skimmed, phished, they use malware from a user system, You know, they use ATMs to get their data, point of sale machines, e-commerce activity, they can get information from. That information is then sent by them to the dark web forum owners. Okay, so it's then, you know, they harvest the illegal information, they send it to the dark web, and they call it, you know, they arrange that data, the credit card data, into what we call dumps, pins, and fulls. Okay, which I'll explain in a second. Okay, so dumps, pins, and fulls are available for sale on the dark web forums in an anonymous currency, usually Bitcoin. So people usually pay for these details in Bitcoin. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
a dump is what we call just normal credit card information. Okay, so, you know, maybe the long card, the long 16-digit number card, the date of expiry, the date of issue, etc. So you have all the card details. A PIN is where you get the credit card details and also the PIN number. Okay, and a fulls is where, you know, these people are selling credit card details, the PIN number, and details of date of birth, address, age, and etc., and maybe some other personal information that goes along with that card. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Information leakage points: phishing, vishing, and smishing, as you know. Yeah. Viruses, point of sale malware, skimming, shimming, fraud. This is where they collect their information. Okay, this is where they collect the illegal information. And again, I just mentioned dumps is just the credit card information. Dumps and PIN is with the PIN. Fulls is with all the information, basically the PIN number, the credit card details, and personal details of address, etc. And then you have bank logins as well, where you get everything along with the bank login, so people can actually log in to a person's online bank account. All this information is being made available on the dark web. All right, so here's an example of credit cards being sold on social media. All right, so, you know, there are various Facebook groups that will advertise, and they use a specific code to sell the information. So, you know, for instance here, doing credit card at cheap prices, full cash on delivery not available, doing cheap prices, take 50% after placing order, etc. And, you know, these guys are actually in code selling illegal credit card information. All right, so again, what we would be doing is what Threat Ninja does is scour these websites and these WhatsApp groups to find this information. Okay, so just quickly run through some statistics. Top 10 banking fraud types and the associated annual losses. So this was taken in 2016, and basically we're looking at the number one type of fraud is wire fraud, which equates to 50 billion in 2016. Online fraud, 32 billion. Card fraud, 28 billion. Mortgage fraud, 20 billion. First party fraud, 17 billion. Identity fraud, 15 billion, etc., etc. So that's just some statistics. And if you analyze that, it's over 181 billion of analyzed fraud globally, you know, with regards to financial transactions. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, here's a Nielsen report. Card fraud is globally is increasing. It's not just because card issuance is increasing and cards are more popular than ever. It's because fraud is actually outpacing growth. Fraudsters are just getting better at using these cards in ways that card issuers and merchants cannot detect right away. All right, so the threat actors are stepping up their game. They're increasing the way that they work, and they're becoming more and more efficient, and they're becoming better at what they do. So you can expect card fraud to continue to move upwards. The Nielsen the report projects that card fraud will be around 31 billion, and I'm supposing that will be in the next couple of years. as this report was done in 2016. Okay, so they're expecting it to hit 31 billion and to keep rising. And here's another report from Forbes. This is Forbes.com. They're saying it could exceed, card fraud could exceed 12 billion by 2020. All right, that's just not financial fraud, but just specific card fraud. Okay, fraud losses incurred by banks and merchants on all credit cards and debit cards, prepaid, general purpose and private label payment cards issued globally hit 21.84 billion in 2015. You know, we're now 3 years on, so we would expect that number to rise. Okay, the United States accounts for more than 2/5, 38.7% of the total at 8.45 billion. And by 2020, just the US alone could surpass 12 billion. Okay, and again, that's a Nielsen report, so you can look up the Nielsen report and you know, get the current actual figures. But these reports were published in 2016 and 2014. Okay, so some more statistics. Largest credit card data breaches. So we've all heard the news. We all know that, you know, people's data, you know, is increasingly being compromised. Threat actors are gaining access to, you know, big companies and their data banks. And, you know, this just gives us some figures around, some statistics around what's happened in these specific years. So in 2005, Card System Solutions, number of accounts affected 40 million. So, you know, their system was hacked and 40 million accounts were affected. You know, the threat actors actually gained access to 40 million accounts. Okay. In 2006, TJX companies, 94 million accounts affected. And I'll just skip through this quickly because I know you have some idea of what's happening in the market, you know, being in the industry that you are. Is that correct? You have some idea of data breaches?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So again, just in 2014, 56 million accounts affected. Okay. Actual data breaches. So, you know, you can get this information from, you know, there are various fraud statistics websites out there where we can get this information. It's public knowledge. Okay, so we're looking at online fraud losses by year. Okay, so from 2001 to 2012, it's risen from 1.7 billion to 3.5 billion. Okay, so this is online fraud where people are using, you know, credit cards and debit cards and fraudulently acquiring goods and services. And this is 2012 from CyberSource, and we would expect that you know, number has increased, you know, by 2019. Okay, again, annual global fraud losses. You can see the upward curve. Started off in 2000 at 3 billion. And in 2015 was recorded at over 21 billion. Okay, so again, you can see the steepness of that curve. We're expecting annual global fraud losses in billions to rise exponentially over the next few years. All right, so we need to do something about it. All right, so let's just look at some specifics. So basically, when we look at debit cards and credit cards, the main piece of information on a debit card and credit card is the bank identification number. So each bank that you are dealing with will have their own unique 6-digit identification number, okay? And it's called a BIN, BIN for short, okay? And basically, we understand that. We understand, our technology understands the BIN numbers. Our technology uses the BIN numbers to provide the services that we provide, along with other information. So here on this slide is a visual of how Threat Ninja works. Okay, how the actual portal looks. So, for instance, if you as a client signed up with Secure Coat and you wanted us to provide monitoring service, dark web monitoring service for your credit cards, this is what the service you would get. You'd get a login portal where you log in to our secure servers. Okay, so everything happens in the background. You get a login at the front end. All our machine learning, all our big data analytics are hosted by us at a very secure location. And basically, you get a username and password where you log into the into Threat Ninja portal, and you will start to be able to search by bank, by credit card type.
Okay,
By
okay. This is totally cloud based, or we need to install any agent in our premises.
No, this will be cloud based. Okay, it'll be cloud based. We host it. We host everything. And the reason we do that is because, yeah, because of the ongoing updates that we're running, and the intensity of the software, and obviously the way the software works. This is sort of intellectual property that we are basically protecting. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah, so it's cloud based. You log in, you can search by country, by bank, the quantity. You can you can identify the quantity, the city, and the type. So here basically it's just showing you could go down, scroll down, choose Pakistan, for instance. You could choose which banks you wanted in
Can
Pakistan.
I check with Bangladesh country?
So,
Bangladesh.
yes, you can. Yeah, Bangladesh is there as well. Yes. So you'd be able to, choose the country and then choose the actual particular bank. However, it will be configured, depending on the package that you as a client purchase, then we will configure the system so that you get just the specific service that you've requested. Does that make sense? So
Okay.
it will cover, it will cover the banks.
Okay. Suppose I am an X bank. I purchase this solution for my bank, and if I want to search, then I can only search regarding my bank related information, nothing else.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is the output. Here's an example of the output you may get. All right, so it will tell you like the amount of dumps, which is where the dump is or what the name of the dump is, the type of dump it is. So it's Visa cards, when it expires, when that Visa card expires. Okay, the mark on the Visa card, the bank it's from, which is here, the country, and the time as well that that card has been recognized on the dark web.
Okay. Can we get the details where we get this information, or dark
Yeah.
web, or yeah?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just coming to that. Yeah. So what happens is, what we like to do is you can have the information formatted in different ways. Okay. Depends on the package you buy. Here is an example of the full information. So if you wanted to get details of full information and you pay for that package, then what will happen is you'll search the web for specific sets. Let's say, for instance, Visa debit cards. Okay, for your particular bank, all the Visa debit cards will come up that our software will search the dark web. It will bring back all the debit cards that are associated with your bank that we can find, and it will output all the information in this format. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you can see name, date of birth, email. So this is fulls. All right, this is full information of a credit card where somebody's selling this credit card along with the details of the person. It's available on the web. Threat Ninja has gone, searched the web, searched the dark web. It's crawled using our proprietary software, and it's bringing back the information, and we can either email it to you or you can pull it up. The bank can pull it up, and you know, basically what we recommend is that, you know, we have an information handling procedure. Okay, so once we do the search, okay, we do the search for the credit card, we find the credit card details, we submit it to the bank, or the bank becomes aware of it. What we recommend is that within 30 minutes of recognizing that card as being a stolen card, what they need to do is they need to cancel the card, basically. All right, so the information is delivered to the organization. It should be discarded by the organization within a time span of 30 minutes. This exposure time is critical because from the time the information is got from underground forums, it could be misused by the forum owners or other bad guys. Okay, it's hereby best practice to discard the information as soon as possible to control information misuse, and the customers should be issued with a new credit card or new debit card, serial PIN and expiry date as per the organization's policy. So here what we're talking about is taking a proactive approach. You know, you're having someone sitting in the bank actually monitoring the web. You're not waiting until there's fraudulent transactions that are going through and hitting your account before there's an alert. You've actually got, you know, Threat Ninja doing some preemptive work and looking at the web and informing the customer that, you know, your information has appeared on the dark web for sale, and then we can cancel the card before it's actually used if it's done within that first 30 minutes. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. So the card life cycle.
Okay, I have another question that can we get the source of where the from where the information were leaked or
Yes.
leaked?
Yeah, usually it will tell you whether it's on a again, depending on the package you buy. I think we are working on putting that together, telling you whether it came from a forum or whether it came from a dark website or whether it came from a specific group. We're actually working on putting that together. So the answer to your question is it should be available shortly.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'll clarify that. I'll clarify that question back to you. I'll speak to my technical team and see how we how we handle that. So you're saying you want the source of the actual
Data leakage.
yeah, where the leak is. Okay. Okay, yeah, leave that with me. I'll get back to you on that. Okay, so so what we're saying is best practice to yeah, discard within 30 minutes of finding the actual details. Okay. So here, what Threat Ninja does is it gets the card info. The customer or the client receives the card info. We send a report or information to the bank via email or the web portal. Whether you're using the web portal will alert you, or you can opt to have emails sent. So, you know, once a card is found, we can generate an email that's sent directly to any email of your choice, email address of your choice. And we recommend that within 30 minutes of receiving that email, you know, you cancel, the actual bank cancels the card. Okay. We recommend that the bank maintains a list of all blocked cards and updates, you know, this on a proactive basis, and send it back to Secure Code so that we can, you know, update our systems as well and say, well, look, we provided you with, you know, 20 cards and you've actually blocked these 20 cards, so we don't need to provide you with that data anymore. Or, you know, we there's some feedback, you know, you've told us that yes, you know, these cards have been blocked and dealt with. And yeah, we do provide a service where, again, it depends on which package you buy or which package you entertain. We do provide a service where we remove leaked info from the dark web. All right, so again, okay. It's yeah, it's an additional service.
Okay. It will your responsibility to remove the information from the dark web, actually.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, we can do that.
If we buy that service.
Yes, if we yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So just to clarify, the point where, you know, I provide perhaps if you were my client, if I provide you with the details of where we found it, that's the gray area which I'm going to get back to you on. Okay. But yes, we certainly can remove the leaked information from the dark web. All right. So we'll our proprietary software actually goes in and deletes and removes without being detected. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So again, our dark web monitoring services basically split into two separate services, which I mentioned, or additional services. So you have the threat intelligence, which is the card finder. So it just finds the locations of the cards. It tells you that there's a breach, and we leave it up to you. Or the hacked card rescue, which is where we get the card details and we discard the card details, as we just mentioned. You know, we remove it from the website or from the forum or from the place where it's being sold. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that sound like a good service?
Okay.
All right. So yeah, questions and answers. I mean, again, it's all about the bank identification numbers. Basically, that's the most important piece of information that we obtain from the dark web, and you know, everything else additional. Remember your pins, your fulls, and you know, all the card details can be removed from the websites that they're being sold on in the dark web. Okay, so that's the end of my presentation. Do you have any more questions?
This is your solution. Does your solution continuously monitoring the information related to your client?
Yes, it monitors 24/7, and again, depending on the service that you purchase, you know, some people just have the portal where they go in, you know, they click on a daily basis, they find their cards, and then they deal with it. Some people want, you know, a interactive situation where it's monitored 24/7 and emails are generated as soon as we find which is the service I recommend. You know, as soon as the details are found of a stolen credit card, you're generated an email directly to the bank or directly to the client, and you can take, you know, evasive action. You can cancel the card, and you know, you can actually call the client and call the customer, the actual person who owns the credit card, and say, you know what, we believe that your credit card has been compromised, and you know, we're going to send you out a brand new credit card, and it should be there within 2 or 3 days. Does that make sense? So you're actually protecting your customers. You know, you're now, you know, saying we are having an extra level of security around your payments and your payment systems, your credit cards and debit cards and your bank account. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
I have another question that does your company provide any POC like 2 or 3 days for?
Proof of concept. Okay, so what I
Yeah.
can do, yeah, in order for the guys, yeah, what we do is we charge a small fee. If you wanted a proof of concept, we charge $250 because it does take time for the technical guys to put that together for you. We give you a proof of concept where we come online and we can show you exactly how it works, how you log in, how you search credit cards. However, we are not permitted to provide that service free because there is a legal implication behind it that we need to cover off, and that's why we take the fee. So for a fee of $250, we can show you the live working version of Threat Ninja. Does that make sense?
Okay. Okay. If we arrange any WebEx session in our client premises, do we can conduct that?
Yes, we can do that, providing obviously,
And
yeah,
you can show some demo on that session.
yes, providing I take the you know, the $250 payment, then I can get the guys together and I can get my technical team and we can show you a live demonstration of Threat Ninja, as you saw.
Actually, when we have some WebEx session, customer want to say how your solution work, and they want to show some result related to their organization.
Related to their organization. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying,
Suppose we are conducting a WebEx session and X bank and their employees want to show please show some result related to our organization from your solution. You
yes,
can
yes. Yeah, we can arrange that. There's a few things we need to do first, but I'll email you what we need to do. We may need to just have you sign just an agreement that protects us. And as I said, we just need to take a payment of $250 and maybe just agree some terms and conditions. And then yes, we may be able to provide that for you. But again, let me confirm that with my technical team, and I'll get back to you on the details of that. Does that make sense?
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So how soon are
Okay.
you looking? Yeah. How soon are you looking to do this?
Very soon because next 2 days holidays in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a government holiday in every Friday and Saturday in Bangladesh.
Okay.
So maybe Sunday holiday in your country.
Yeah. Sunday is a day off. So maybe.
Okay, no
Yeah.
issue. We'll connect with you within next day. I'll contact with my CEO, Mr. Sadi, and
Yes.
I will convey your information. And this is very good solution to me. It's amazing. I will convey all the information in this meeting to my
Yes.
CEO, and he will contact with you again and discuss related to our clients and everything. Okay.
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 Yeah. Okay.
It was a
Perfect.
nice session. I actually enjoyed to this session.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for turning up. So should I communicate with you directly, or should I communicate with Sheikh?
Maybe I will add it in the email loop, and maybe I will communicate with you in the loop.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So just give me
Okay.
your, yeah. Okay, so I have your email address, right? Your email address is Iqbal,
Iqbal.Karim
yeah, Kareem at trusteria.com.
@trusteria.com. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, perfect. So yeah, let me I'll put together something and I'll let you know exactly what you need to do, and we can get that organized and get that arranged where you have your client on a WebEx just like this, and we can show you a live demonstration, providing, yeah, you just need to, there's a couple of things that we need in place before we can do that. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, actually, here is a trend that when the banker wanted to buy something, they need to conduct a POC to show, to convince their top management. That's the
Yeah.
issue.
Okay.
Here is here is a trend or rule. You can say anything that if you wanted to buy any product or solution, you need to first conduct a POC.
Okay.
That's the issue. That's why I
Okay.
asked that question.
Okay, so let's work together to get that PLC, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll email you within 24 to 48 hours, and we see where we move forward from there. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Too.
Bye bye. Bye for now. Have a good
Bye
day. Bye bye.
bye. Okay.